Hello everyone, and welcome to week 12 for music appreciation. And if you notice down here, I am on the web page. It's up here, and I'm showing you what this week's assignment is. Compared to last week, the assignment is a little bit different in the B section. Now, knowing that you have to do 3 measures per day in ABA form, this week the B section wants you to emphasize the note G in measure 2. And then the final step, when you get to measure 3, they want you to make the last note end on C. As another addition to this assignment, there's a new note grouping. It's called the 16th note. When I say it's a grouping, usually you see the 16th notes in groups of 4. They look like this, and they in groups of 4 because they make one beat when they're in groups of 4. These are 1/4 of a beat apiece. Now, if you go back to the very beginning of week 1 or week 2, there was a note value presentation video, and it showed you a little thought process where you add something to the oval. Every time you do that, it takes half the value away. So if you start with just a plain oval, which is like a whole note, and then you add a stem, then it means the whole note goes from 4 beats to 2 beats, and so on. All right, it goes all the way up to the 8th note, which is what we worked on for quite a while. And it has an 8th note has one flag, and that's half a beat. Well, when you add another flag, it takes half the value away from half a beat to make this into 1/4 of a beat. So these notes here are worth 1/4 of a beat. When you have 4 of them, you have 1 beat. All right, so what I'm going to do now is show you on the page, and then before we go on to the example on Finale Notepad. Again, if you want to see the examples of ABA form, go into the student sample page here, or you can go to the student sample page over here on let's see. No, maybe not. Course description. No, we don't have the student sample page here on this. Okay, so just go ahead and click on this to get to the students. All right, and then scrolling right now and skipping over dictation. Go into keyboard songs, presentations, and worksheets. The only thing that we have here is just the same as last week, the treble clef notes for reference and bass clef notes for reference. And then, if you want to check yourself out to see if you're understanding how things are put together in the Grand Staff, you can click on this song here, and it's a song that you can keep or practice, play on keyboard, whatever, and it shows you how it works. And if you want to see how it's supposed to sound, you can just click here. And here's contact information for me as well. All right, so let's get on to this week's assignment. I'm going to open up Notepad, and remember the ABA form. I'll just go ahead and put this as A right here. Now, in ABA form, it says we're going to be using a new set of notes, but we'll just start off very simple, all right? So, and we'll just kind of go through the 5 notes we've been working with so far. All right, and actually, let me move this A over to where we're going to actually be doing this. Okay, and you can see the capabilities of Finale Notepad. Okay, this is where the ABA form is. This is right here, just showing us the 5 notes within the treble clef that we can use, and the 5 notes in the bass clef that we should use, just so we don't get ourselves overwhelmed with all these different notes here. And just to remind you that these are the notes C, D, E, F, and G for both treble and bass clef. All right, and I'll put the 3 rests underneath. And just something to remember for Finale Notepad, both treble and bass clef should align with each other. If there's a rest up here, there should be something down here, whether it's both rests or there may be sounds or something, but that is spoken about in a different video. All right, now here's the A section. I'm just going to go ahead and start off with a 1/4 note on the note G, just because that's where I chose it to be. And these are just all random, these notes here. And I'm going to add the new note, the notes, the 16th notes. And just to make it simple, whoops, I'm going to move it. Keep it all on one pitch, but you can notice, see how they can be at different pitches too. But these are all on one pitch, and then I will put this a rest right here. Now, the interesting thing about this is down below you have bass clef, and you'll see there's a whole rest down below. That means nothing's happening down here. Now, if I wanted to have something to happen down here, I could create things down here. So I'm going to go ahead and put this here. And then maybe put a half note here, and then 2 rests down here, just because. Oh, yeah, it's because you have 1 beat, 2 beats here, and there's beat 4. So 1 plus 2 plus 1 is 4. All right, this is your A section. All right, and let me see if I can move this A over just a tiny bit. There we go. Now over here will be our B section. And again, keep in mind that we're just making these things up as we go. There's no no set rule or anything that says that we have to do anything specific, except for this week. It says that they want you to emphasize the letter G. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use 8th notes. And then the new ones, the 16th notes. Now, there are other ways to emphasize the note G. For example, I could put a rest here, and then finish on the note G. 1, 2, oh, actually that's 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, and there's 4. So instead of the rest, I think I'll put the G here at the end. All right, and then I'll put a whole note down here at the bottom to make this different. Here's the note G right here. All right, and then I'm going to do this A section again. And move this up a little bit so it's out of the way of that. Okay, and now my job is to make this very similar to, if not exactly the same as, whoops, that didn't work. Let's try that again. Should be a G here, and then I'm going to go to the next beat, which is a C and an E, and then 4 16th notes on F. Now, the last note on the assignment, it did say we wanted to make the last note be a C. Now, we didn't have anything on the last beat here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a note here at the end and make that be a C here. All right, and maybe I'll just emphasize that by putting a C down here when I get to that. So let's get to this right here, make it exactly like the beginning. Oops. And the half note comes next, and then finished up with that last note being a C rather than a rest. Now we can call this ABA because this is very, very similar to this. The only change is that this is C. We have an emphasis on G, and I'm not real sure why this didn't. Oh, I see, it moved up there. What I'm going to do here, this could happen from time to time. So here is something that you can do to get rid of a measure that you didn't want. Here, you click on this, hold down the mouse button and highlight the whole thing. I think all you do is hit delete, and there you go. All right, so there's that. I'll move the A up just a little bit more, and that's 1 day's worth of work. All right, so if you have any questions on this, please make sure you give me an email. There really isn't a lot to it, except for when I say emphasize, just put it a little bit more. And when you listen to the example, you'll kind of see how this kind of fits, that G, and then when you have C at the end, it has this sense of finishing. All right, remember we're only using these 5 notes here, CDEFG and CDEFG, and then this is how it's done. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put today's date, 4/5/2010, and remember you do 3 measures in ABA form every single day. So when I'm I should see a whole page full of all these with a different date. Okay? All right, boys and girls, have a nice day, have a good week, and good luck doing your ABA forms.